All right. Good morning, everyone. Brad Roltgen here with the Fresno Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Investors Group. This morning, Tim's going to share with us a super powerful tool that will help us figure out when we want to sell out of crypto and provide all kinds of other info from the quick demo he gave me of it. So we'll just jump right into it. He's got his dashboard shared and screen shared. So Tim, take it away and tell us about this, how it can help us, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Um, so there's basically two different models that they have for selling your crypto. One is based off of risks, and that basically looks at all of this historical context, where the price is, what's happening uh, globally on some level, and kind of where the market is. And so you can go based off of risk models, which they take and they show in various spots. Now, I found this because of the guy that has created this. Dan, I don't know how to say his last name, Garambaldo, has a channel on YouTube, and he does technical analysis all the time. And of everybody that I've watched do technical analysis, he's really good. And he goes back in the crypto market, started this, I believe, 8 years ago. And, but he goes back and he's looking at, S&P for 20 years ago, and finding how that relates and looks in comparison to some of the things that we see today. But you can go based off of risks. And as you sit here, as you follow the cursor, you can basically see what the risk model was at that time, on that date, and what the current price was for Bitcoin. In this case, I'm on Bitcoin, but you can kind of go back and see, risk here was 100. That was December 15th, 2017. And the price was 17,979. But in some cases, it actually does hit a risk model of 70. And when you go into the exit planner, you can choose whether you want to go based off of risk or you're looking for price. And then it actually will send out alerts via either email or SMS. You can only have 30 SMS messages set up. So if you've got, 60 coins, just as an example, assuming, you're into all the, as everybody calls them, shit coins. I don't. I have an awful lot of things other than Bitcoin, specifically because I'm not planning on liquidating my Bitcoin, being that it doesn't look like it's going to go above 200 to 300,000 this time. But at the same time, predictions are for it to go to, 500,000 and 1,000,000 and then 10 million. And well, hell, I'd rather make 1,000,000 off of it than, 200,000. So I'll hold. And because of that, I have a lot of other crypto coins that I am not so, quote, I don't know what the right word, I don't want to say in love with, but like, I don't look at them as, quote, long-term holdings, so to speak. And so I would be okay to sell those and then at the bear cycle reacquire again potentially. Um, and but wash, rinse, repeat. Well, first you got to get it all out of your hair, and at this point, we can't even get enough water to get shampoo in our hair. There's just not enough liquidity that's actually out there for some.
So
And I
let's
believe I know the reasons, which we'll possibly go into a little bit here. So there
Tim,
is,
hold on a second. Let back up and just tell us what I see the URL on the screen there. Tell us what the name of this thing is and what the main website to go to if we want to get involved.
well, it's cryptocapitalventure.ai.
Okay.
And I don't even know what the heck he calls it.
Oh, Crypto Capital Venture Intelligence. Okay. So that's where the
Yes,
CCVI comes from.
CCVI.
Got it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Crypto Capital Venture is the quote business that he has. And he and two other people created this over the last roughly year. And his reason for making it, and it has the AI in it that you can speak to that can access your portfolio and help give you guidance. Um, but it has, as you see over here on the left hand side, excuse me, all the things that you can get into. You can see a lot of things with on chain metrics. Um, and there's quite a few. And it handles, I want to say, 81 or 83 different assets. And they keep adding new things intermittently. But from the home page, if you go into dashboard, these are all little widgets, if you will, that you can turn around and add in or remove from your dashboard. And then we have the risk models, the bull and bear arena, which actually just kind of shows you what part of the market they believe we're in, and a lot of the things that basically help them determine that. And you can look that up for all of the different assets. Okay, didn't look like it was going down there. And then they update this every day. It's not like something that's updated every hour or anything. It's basically done once a day. But they do go through and take and chart out an awful lot of things. And you can take and right now, a lot of things are set for Bitcoin only. Eventually, they'll turn around and they'll start adding the ability to take and analyze this like LTH MVRV long-term holder. MVRV is multiple value, merchant value, retail value. I forget what it stands for.
Looks like they use it a couple places. Okay.
Yeah. But you can turn around and kind of go in here quite a ways. You can view it logarithmically or linear. You can actually take and look at the 6-year market. And you can, drill in or go out It can hide historical signals, all kinds of different things if you just
Yeah.
want to
The,
look at what's happened over the last year, which kind of shows you like, you know, there there's three things I think that have really kind of tanked the market for us. Everybody was expecting this 4 year cycle that's been fairly dependable. Um, but we now have a truly historic uh, disruptive technology out there, AI, and that has sucked up shit ton of the money out of all the other assets
mm,
because everybody's kind of gambling on that one, so to speak. Um, whether that's a bubble or not is something that a lot of people are actually questioning. Um, I do think it is. I think we're kind of almost watching the same thing we saw with Amazon around the 2000s, where
yeah.
their stock price went up to like 400 something a share, and then eventually it lost like 70% of the market value. But in that time, he was doing what a lot of investors or corporations do, which is playing with other people's money. And he turned around and he invested it back in and built, the Amazon Web Services. And, he went from, just Pez dispensers and books, which Pez dispensers technically is what eBay started off doing. But he went from being, quote, a bookstore to just selling anything and everything.
Yeah.
And
Hey, Ahmed, feel free to jump in here with any questions, but I mean, Tim, this seems kind of almost overwhelming. Where did you start when it's like, I'm sure when you got in, you're like, whoa, what's all this information? Where did you start with it? And kind of what was your goal? Kind of take
well,
us along that introductory path, I guess.
the 4 year cycle basically indicated that around November of 2025 to January 2026, in theory, should have been the height of the bull market. But we never saw a bull market. And I initially signed up for this thinking, I'm in for a year. So I bought the year membership. They had, I think, like a 30% off on it. And I literally was looking at doing it for the year. And I figured by January, February at the latest, I would be all out of crypto with the exception of the three coins that I wanted to carry forward: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. And everything else, I would completely sell all of it off. And then I'd be off in the Philippines, which is where I thought I would be already. And, but we never had a bull market. The bull cycle never happened, which is kind of why, which there's three things. Number one, it's AI has sucked all the liquidity out. And then you get the institutional investors that have come in. And so that has completely changed the market because they're doing dirty pool. They buy OTC, so it doesn't affect price, but then they turn around and they'll buy, 11 times more Bitcoin that is made every day. And then at like Friday at 5 p.m., they'll turn around and they'll put like 3,000 Bitcoin back out in the retail market, which drives the price down, and it stays down for the whole weekend. But I mean, these guys were, when they were born, they woke up and started market manipulation. And they just now are doing it on an even larger extreme. And sadly, the Clarity Act, I don't think, is going to prevent them from doing it, because you've got people like Elizabeth Warren, who's written 38 amendments to it. So, and she's all in for the banks. So we're don't think we're going to get what we were hoping we would get out of the Clarity Act, sadly. But
Yeah.
they have basically the risk models, they have the accumulation planner, and then they have the exit planner. And so these three things constitute the majority of what features most people kind of care about. And then a lot of these other things basically kind of take and give you further insights feature wise into various things that you can do. And so inside of save strategies, these are all of the different ones that I've entered in here for all of the different coins that I have. And sadly, what we can see is most of them are in the negative.
Yeah. So on this exit strategy, do you put like
You
you
enter
create your
each one in individually.
right, right, but then do you create your own strategy? Like,
Yeah,
you're like, I want it, if the price hits here or if it hits, 50% more
100%.
than I paid for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we come in here to create, we can take and say for, oh, I don't know, AVAX, how many coins we bought, what the price was, and then whether we're planning on selling based off of price or based off of where, when it, assuming it goes up to 100% risk being the height of the bull market, maybe you want to start laddering out. So at
Yeah.
60 or 70%, you want to sell 10%. In case it never makes it to 100. And
Okay.
then you can turn around and make multiple levels inside of there. You want to sell some at 60, some at 70, some at 80, some at 90. And if it ever hits 100, you can turn around and liquidate everything. But you set those levels if you're going off of risk, or you set the price, but you choose one or the other. And then once you go through and you take, and which is what is happening here, okay, and so you can add the target. I don't know that, I don't remember if I have some AVAX.
Yeah. So, and then so when it hits that target, that's where you said it sends you either the text or an email.
It will either send you an email or send you an SMS message.
Okay.
Now, for SMS messages, which they just kind of got working not that long ago, you can only take and set up 30 different
Right. Right.
coins.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Because they got to limit that because there's a cost there. And then so it's not tied into your central exchange or anything like that. You have to
no,
physically go in and put in the order yourself. But
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not, there's no connections at this time uh, to any of the DEXs or the centralized exchanges. No Bitcoin, no Kraken, no anything, which
Yeah.
thought it kind of interesting that Kraken actually got approved by the Federal Reserve the other day. That's a first. Gives them, they're a bank now. Essentially, they have all the power of a bank.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool to see. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah.
I don't like Kraken. I don't like their interface.
Well, have you tried the newer ones? I mean, their original one was definitely wonky, but then when they made their simple one look like Coinbase, and then I used, I use them both going back and forth, but yeah, it's that their first
I'm
one was
using.
wacky.
I'm still. I took everything off of Coinbase. I have very little backup on Coinbase now. Um, but and I had moved it all over to Tangent, and I was
Right.
spending a lot of time trying to help Mary, and so I kept. I'm not a very patient user for a lot of things.
Mm.
When I used to do IT work, uh, Windows, I understand why people shoot up post offices. You know, they call it going postal. Windows would make me, if I had to use Windows, had to, like, say I went back to working again and I had to support a whole large corporation of Windows users, I would be dangerous.
Yeah, you might go
Would not,
Windows. So
you would
now
not want to hand me a gun.
we originally were talking about this as an exit strategy, but it looks like can you use this also to potentially buy, like when the risk is, goes under 20 or
Yes,
something?
yeah, there is an
Okay.
accumulation planner over here.
Oh yeah, 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 there we go. Okay, good. So we can kind of use it both ways.
Yep, yep. Now, this just recently got added. So I've already basically sunk all of my quote retirement money into my portfolio. And then sadly, we watched it just, drain. And the only two coins I have where they're worth more than what I spent for them are the Ethereum and the Bitcoin, and still not by very much.
Yeah, and
Um,
those are probably because you bought those first, longest ago or whatever. But yeah, I
yeah,
saw where.
I mean, I generally just, it shows like how what my total gains are in Bitcoin. I managed to buy at a really, really cheap price. And I just I would, a lot of people would do the dollar cost averaging,
Uh-huh.
and I'm when I worked at Cisco Systems, one of the key words that they indoctrinate you with is frugal. And I have become an absolute cheapskate for just so much of everything.
Okay.
And because of that, every time I saw the market, as they say, buy when there's blood on the streets, every time I watched everything just super tank, like when FTX shit the bed,
Yeah.
uh, I bought. Every time it really things went bad, I would buy. And because of that, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I've managed to kind of drop my price quite a bit. Now, the Ethereum, I'm still not that much. I mean, it never hit all time high. It's still really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't,
Um,
yeah, it hasn't gotten anywhere back to that 4,000 range.
no,
Let's
and
see.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Sure. Let's see if Ahmed, do you have any questions or thoughts on this so far? I mean, this is a lot of information and whatever, but what are you thinking of this or how might you use it?
This is a lot of different angles to look at it. Great for analysis. I've not been as involved in this kind of analysis. I kind of just, you know, follow the cultural wave. But yeah, this would be great, I guess, for the smaller coins, I think, right?
Well,
Especially if you're a
actually,
hodler.
yeah, I think it's kind of, if all you've got is, 5,000 in crypto, then this is just overkill. Unless you got 5,000 in there from 7 years ago because you ended up round tripping the market, um, which is kind of what happened to me. And that was part of why I was kind of like, I don't want to do that again. I would rather take, figure out when the bull cycle is, but have things other than time, because time has not turned out to basically be a great indicator. Um, we should have had a bull cycle in November, and we
Yeah.
haven't. You
Now
can look.
he meant Ahmed mentioned better or useful for smaller coins, but does it really matter? I mean, as
No,
long as there's enough
the thing
information.
the thing that matters the most is actually what uh, coins this thing actually supports.
Right.
So when you turn around and you go into the exit planner and come in here, and then this lists all the coins that they actually have a model for. Now, a lot of them don't model everything. They may take and have like Trump coin. I don't know why it's
Uh,
in there
yeah.
twice. Oh, one's Melania. Okay. Uh, I did buy one Trump coin uh, specifically just because I thought it was more of zero intention that I thought I would make money off of it. I kind of knew I wouldn't. I think it was a horrible thing that he did on some respect, but not to throw politics in there, which is I follow politics way too much, specifically geopolitics. I am just really fascinated because it's so relevant, but most people don't look at it whatsoever. It bores them to death, and I get that. For
Yeah.
me, it fascinates me because I see all of these crazy things, and I have a nephew who that was what he got his degree in. And last I spoke to him, he was working for the Bill Gates Foundation. And he was an instructor up in Washington University. And it's kind of like I remember giving him shit when he got the degree, like, what in the hell are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
And he, he's kind of miserable up there, but hey, that's what freedom is, the choice to choose your own poison.
Yeah. But if the coins are listed on here or in the system, they have basically enough information
Well, the
whether it's a
last
big coin or a small coin. I mean,
the
there's
last
enough.
one that I know was just added
Uh-huh.
is called Midnight. I don't know if anybody knows anything about Midnight.
Oh yeah, I was actually talking to somebody. Look at an accumulation planner for midnight, or what? Does it matter exit or accumulation?
Well, they just added it, so I don't know. And because of that, there's really, you can't go back very far because
Right.
technically the only way you can buy it, let me reword that. The only way you can acquire it is to either have been part of the glacier drop, which is where they took a snapshot of everybody who had coins on the blockchain, which if you had it up at Coinbase, congratulations, you're not in there. You had
Yeah,
it up on Kraken,
on which
congratulations, you're
on
not
which
in there.
chain is it on?
Uh, if you took and you have self-custodial of it, like on a tangent,
Right, but which chain is it on?
oh, Cardano. Well, what they did is they actually are looking at Bitcoin, Solana, ADA, Ethereum, and one other. I forget what the other one is. Um, XRP. And so for anybody who had any of those and they have self custody, the way self custody works is basically they're not, quote, sitting in your ledger device or in your Tangent card or whatever wallet you're using. What they do is they take and they transfer it, and it's sitting on the Bitcoin chain. And basically, when they snapshotted it, you can turn around and go up in there. And apparently, it has a pointer to your address on the Bitcoin blockchain. And so you can turn around and get your quote address on there and go up when they were doing the glacier drop, submit that address, and it would tell you how many based off of how much you had up on the blockchain,
Right.
what your potential reward was. And
Okay. Well,
so they,
just as an example, I saw it was on listed on there as Theta because that's what I've been holding for a while. Go to Theta and see what the exit planner tells us on that one. It's been around for a while. I don't follow the news, and so I'm curious what it thinks.
come on.
And since it has been around so long, there should be the opportunity to have plenty of data on it.
And so that shows what the chart looks like.
Right.
This is where we currently are. And it shows a,
Dang, it just keeps dropping.
yeah.
What okay, so
Everything has.
can you show the risk uh model on that?
If I add, let's see, create, let's say I give me some numbers. How many 100 coins?
Yeah, do 100 coins and a purchase price of 20 cents. Oh yeah.
And
So that's where you got to hit the risk button on there because right now we're just looking at the price.
if you are looking at selling on price, then you would make $28 on it right now. If
Okay.
you wanted to do it off on risk, there's no risk model
Oh,
available in
okay.
beta yet. So,
Huh,
like I
that's
said, they have 83 coins
okay.
that they actually support these various things on. Like if you look for Midnight, there's no risk model for that either. In the case of Midnight, there's no risk model because technically it's not really out yet. It is, but it isn't. You can only buy it on Dexes, and it. I
Yeah, I get
wanted
it.
to.
There's not enough data for that one, but data there should be. So maybe they're just not haven't done it yet. But I mean, because it's
Yeah,
been out for, geez. 10
A
years?
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. I mean, some of these, yeah, they don't
Yeah.
say.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a good example. Um,
But it does give you, like, portfolio allocation. 85% of sold, 15% of buyers actually hold. A goal without a plan is just a wish.
oh, okay. That's interesting. So that's overall. So is that of the people that have ever bought Theta,
Yeah,
85% of them have sold and only
and
15 are hodling.
15% have been holding out.
Okay. Interesting. And what,
Um,
yeah, go to another coin. I'm curious to see what that number looks on other coins. I don't know what a
okay.
normal is for that, kind of thing.
Honestly, I don't either. Sui,
Oh, that
which
might be a good one. Yeah.
again, that's a kind of a new coin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so if you had bought it at 20 cents, you'd
Yes.
have
Scroll.
$137.
Yeah, scroll down to
And
see that the thing about how many people are holding and how many people sold. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, keep going. Oh, that's the same. That's weird.
well, everything right now is so suppressed that on some level, I'm not really that shocked that so many of them are, because the price is very much different in terms of how much you would have accumulated based off of price.
Yeah.
If you'd bought it for 20 cents and it's sitting at, uh, looks like,
Hey,
90 to
yeah.
80 to 90 cents. Well,
Yeah, go back to that risk mode for a second. I see some deals in there. So see where it says sell 50% at risk 80, 25 at 70. Is that something that they're like kind
yeah,
of
you
recommending?
can set that. Yeah, you can set that here.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like a default, like they said it, or if you had been
Well,
playing with this coin.
it'll basically, when you take and you enter coins in, it does take and set up some exit strategies, and they start at 60, 70, and 80.
Got it.
And 10% at 60, 25 at 70, and then 50% at 80. And that will turn around and leave you basically 15%, or in this case, 15 coins,
Right.
that you are, quote, holding, you know, and those 15 will round trip, so to speak, if you haven't turned around and added another target here at 90 or
Right. Right.
100.
You might sell the remaining part, yeah. Because you're never gonna hit exactly at 100, I wouldn't imagine, but that's all good.
No, they do. Various
Okay.
ones do.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen with what's
No,
actually
you don't.
happening in the
There's no
marketplace. So,
guarantee. But if
yeah.
you go back and you look at, like, see, now this one is one that it doesn't go back that far because it's, a new
Yeah,
coin.
right.
It
So what
goes
did it
back
top out that at right in like above 20 25? Yeah, what was the top risk right there?
524.
Oh, but the risk was only
Risk
65.
was only 65.
Okay,
But that was, just a little over a year ago.
right.
We thought the bear market was just kind of, quote, finishing off here.
Yeah,
A
and then
lot
we
of
got
people
more
were
bear.
still in accumulation. And we thought, we would be back up over here in,
Yeah, right.
November to January. And we never, they're just between what Biden did with the all the inflation that he created with all the money they printed, with the institutional investors coming in and sucking everything up, we were still in quantitative tightening. And so, we only now, what was it, in December something, or the end of December,
right.
exited the quantitative tightening. We still, yes, they are doing, quote, quantitative easing. They're not calling it that, but they are turning around and, and they have to be able to refinance the debt. They just are waiting for the interest rate to drop to where they can really afford to take and do it, which kind of hasn't happened. But it's also like a knife blade to the throat, as soon as they take and the interest rate drops and they start printing more money to pay off the old debt, there's no way around it. That is going to take and drive. I can't say that actually,
Mm-hmm.
Trump does not do things like everybody else has in politics. He has a very different view because he literally does come at it as a businessman, not as a politician. Politicians don't give a shit. It's not their money. Trump does treat it. It's Americans' money. It's the taxpayers' money.
Right. It's the country's.
Politicians don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's the country's money, and all of us collectively are the country. So,
Yeah.
it's just like whoever is the head of the household. If you've got, mom, dad, and 6 kids, and dad's out there just blowing it on, you know,
Well,
golf
a
clubs or
normal
something like that.
politician, they basically treat it like they got a second family somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
Trump doesn't. He's kind of, I mean, I don't know that you can say he's, quote, faithful. I think he is on some, he's definitely faithful to America.
Yeah, and that's what's
Most
important.
of these other politicians ain't faithful to anybody but themselves.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's get back off of politics,
Away
back
from
on
politics,
crypto.
I know.
All right. Any other features on
Probably
here?
the AI is kind of interesting.
Okay.
You can turn around and take and actually ask this thing. Let's see, ask it anything. Um, what do you expect midnight might be able to do? And midnight, I don't know if anybody, how much most people know about it. Midnight is a privacy coin. It's a side chain to ADA. I am one of the crazy
Oh,
ones that really likes ADA. Why? Specifically because it is the most peer reviewed and researched crypto that's out there. It was designed not to just be a coin, it's designed to be a financial operating system for the planet. Um, Charles Hoskins, who's the person who founded it, was also one of the co-founders of Ethereum. There's a couple people who come out of Ethereum they're quite interesting. Gavin Woods created Polkadot, and there's another founder that I'm forgetting his name, Paul something, that created another one called Linea. And Linea is interesting. I actually did go out and buy some specifically because I don't remember if it was Consensus but it was at one of the crypto conferences in the last 4 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has been told that Ripple it's basically made by bankers for bankers, and potentially at some point it may be the replacement for Swift, which is how money is moved between banks and
Right.
countries and everything.
Right.
And Ripple, when they got sued and delisted from everything, basically kind of got a timeout. They were grounded, so to speak. And so they never really had a chance to take and actually figure out what their all-time high would be. They didn't participate in the market cycle last time. But while all that was going on, they did go out there and take and decide, since they're bankers, to go out and create outside of the United States all of these agreements in other countries with other banks. And so they managed to take and create all of these other integrations all over the world. Like, oh, you don't want us to play in the United States, huh, Gary? Okay, we'll just go take our ball and go play on other courts. And they did. And they made all of these other agreements with these other central banks and governments and everything like that. Everybody has been hearing for quite a while how XRP potentially would become what the banks would adopt, what the Fed would adopt to be able to take and replace SWIFT. And not only XRP, there's XLM, which is what MoneyGram, I think it's MoneyGram,
Right. Because
actually
they use that
operates
for the
on.
back end.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So was Midnight one of those that was
No,
created? Okay.
nope. Midnight is designed to be a privacy layer. It's a side chain for Cardano. But
Got it.
what Ada did was, or Charles did, was to turn around and take and look at all of these other top coins to be able to take and include those people holding those currencies into an airdrop. And so the first airdrop was called Glacier, and you could go up to the website there, type in your address book, your basically your public address for your currency that you had on your ledger or what various wallets, and not
Right.
all
Right.
wallets were supported. Tangem was one that was not included, which
Oh
sucked.
shoot. What website is that to go?
It was called Glacier. Hold on. It was, if you look up Glacier drop, the bottom line is it's already closed. It was
Okay.
open for a period. You had to basically submit that address, and then it would tell you how many coins you were eligible for based off of what holdings you had on the blockchain.
Got it.
I actually did a lookup for the Bitcoin, the ADA that I had, and I had like 1,800 Midnight tokens that I was eligible for. But because Tangent wasn't included, I did not have, even though they were on the blockchain, I did not have a way to quote sign the contract using my
Oh,
wallet.
right. You'd have to
And
get the private key to do it or something like that.
exactly, and
Yeah.
you don't have a way to take and do that. And really super pissed me off. I like Tangent. It's the all one of the first things that I ran into um, where it became a huge problem. Ada, most of these other wallets, you can go into and take and say, generate me another public key, public address that has nothing in it so that you could turn around and use that address to receive those midnight tokens to be eligible to
But if you
get
have to
those.
sign it, you need to have the private key to be able to sign it.
You need both, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it,
We're getting way off track here. Sorry. Go ahead and
yeah,
hit the AI and see what kind of response it gives you there on midnight.
okay. What do you expect midnight might be able to?
And Ahmed, you got to keep us on track here too. So feel free to jump in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. When we're done here, I'm going to see if you have any more questions or comments.
Yeah, see, because there's no on-chain metrics, it's impossible for it to predict.
Yeah, it's too new. Okay. So it sounds like
Um,
the answers out of this thing are within the boundaries of what the tool does.
yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
really good. I've actually had it report back on the exit strategies I had generated, and it was able to basically come back and make some
Yeah. Here, just
improvement.
do something simple, just like say, when should I buy Bitcoin? Let's see what it tells us. Oh, the buy zone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Scroll up and see that thing it was talking about, the buy zones. Yeah, there we go. The metrics, the on-chain metrics there. So reserve, memory suggestion. Okay. So looks like it has a few different ways to determine that. And so if you're getting like three of the four, I'm thinking like the risk one and two of those that are listed right there,
Yeah,
or if you get all four of them lined up, it's like, well, yeah, this looks good. But if it's like two are one way and two are the other way, maybe it's, kind of on the fence, so to speak.
you can turn around and ask it here. I know what I want to ask it.
This is like, it's like so much info. Just tell me if I should buy or sell.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like Bitcoin, like how many are available to
Yeah.
purchase?
Yep.
Active supply.
Exact number isn't specified by this data, but the total active supply gives
Yeah,
the
because it's
exact.
not differentiating between, what's in my wallet and your wallet versus what an exchange is holding.
Well, dormant supply unmoved for a long time is almost 60%.
Right. No,
I
that's
mean,
definitely interesting.
we just now, I don't know that a lot of people are aware of this, have passed the point where 20 million coins have been made. And between now and 2140, there will only be 1 million more Bitcoins made over
Right.
this next 100 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And only now is when more people are going to want to buy it. So, Ahmed, do you have any closing thoughts or ideas on this thing? I know this is something that, be fun to play with for a couple hours.
Well, you can go up, create an account
Oh, there you
for
go.
free for 30 days. I think it's 30 days. Maybe it's a week. I think it's 30 days.
I think I saw 7 days. I went when I got into the site. Um, 7 day free trial, no payment required. So
Okay.
that's still
So,
plenty of time.
yeah, I mean, you just need to be able to take and kind of, there's a lot that this thing does. So I would make and Dan does a really good job. If you go and you subscribe to his YouTube channel, he includes little bits of this periodically. He tries not to do it, but it's such a useful tool to be able to take and get a really good, in depth understanding of what's going on out there. It shows right here. If you add that up, the 8.3 and 11.86, you come in just under 20 million.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
kind
How
of
else?
tells you
Yeah.
that
That's the
there's
easy way to
not a
get that
lot
info.
left. And being that there's not a lot left, at what point, when you watch what, you know, one of the things that we know is happening is that all of these institutional investors, and mind you, that's not talking about countries or governments or corporations or
Right.
anybody else. That's just, the Black Rocks and all these other hedge funds and whatnot. You know, their goal is to own all 21 million. If they can find a way to dislodge the coins that Satoshi has, you think they won't do that for another million coins? They 100% will. They 100% will. A lot of the states now, I don't know that a lot of people are even aware of this, is if you leave your coins sitting up on an exchange for 3 years
Oh, yeah.
and you don't log in and check on them, the state will try to take them from you. And the way they go about it is they're not going to take and stick them in their little state reserve. No, they're going to sell them. So if you ever go back and contest it, the only thing you're going to get is the market value of the day that they liquidated your coins. If it does hit 1 million, but they sold it at 73,000, at best you're getting is 73,000.
Yeah, and you're going to be upset.
I would imagine you're going to be really pissed off.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the minimum you need to do, number one, if you leave it on an exchange, unless you're participating, which is the only reason I moved anything into Kraken at all. I had taken everything off of Coinbase, put it on Tangent. But the bottom line is the APR that Tangent actually pays out for the very few that they even offer staking on is, you know, 6 to, well, 70% to 50% of what you can get if you actually take and really look at what is available out there on the market. There was only one crypto that I was able to find that I'm able to make more staking it on Tangent than I can by moving it to Kraken. And Coinbase is the worst. They charge the highest fees and they give you the lowest APR for your staking. And
Yeah, no, they're going
now,
to take their cut. That's understandable.
and, yeah, and now you can't even in the state of California stake anything. Gary Gensler basically made that so that they basically said, well, as of August of last year, if you didn't have it staked, we're unstaking it for you, and you're going to lose the ability to do anything. And man, I had, I had bought a lot of stuff staking where I was making at the very beginning of that, I was making like $400 a month off of staking.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at. Let's get back to this guy, this
Okay.
tool, and kind of finish up here. Ahmed, did you
Yeah.
have any other thoughts or questions? I think I've seen enough. Go ahead. See, you're unmuted.
No, 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 no. I'm just curious what percentage that was staking. Staking is always been an interest, especially after Celsius. I haven't been staking anymore, anything anywhere. So
Yeah. Uh, are you asking me how much I'm staking?
No, no. What
yeah, like because
percentage? What was your return?
Oh, it's all across the board. Some of them were paying a high amount back, but the problem is they were losing more value than what you were making in your staking rewards. Cosmos was one that I think that my average price was like $6 a coin, and I don't even remember how many I had. Um, I think I made about 1,600, but it lost like 3 times that.
Yeah,
And
but just from
so
a percentage wise, what would
horrible.
are we talking like 5% that you were making, 3%, 7%?
Each one's different. In the
Right,
case
right.
of
Just ballpark
Cosmos,
it for
it
us.
was about 16% that we were supposed to be making,
Mm,
but it was losing value way faster than you could accumulate in staking rewards. With the case of ADA, it was on Coinbase about 2%. I turned around and I moved it to Kraken, where it's about 3%. And it's the only reason I'm not worried that it's so low is because of how and what it was designed for. I come out of the IT world. I am a Linux user. I hate Windows. I look at how the internet was designed, and I look at how, Linux and the internet were both designed under the quote scientific method. These propeller heads would get in there, write all these papers, come up with, how a protocol was going to function, like email or web, HTTP, HTTPS, all of these things. And then once they had all these papers done and everything was peer reviewed and all the propeller heads were in agreement, only then did they start to write code. And that is exactly how ADA was created also. And so seeing these two similarities, who here could go back to not having the internet?
Yeah, not okay,
None of us.
we're not focusing at all here. That's way too broad
Yes,
of a
we are. Yes,
question.
we are. Because that's the reason why I'm not as focused on what ADA is doing price wise. Because if you look at,
Oh,
if
okay.
you were underwriting the creation of the internet, none of those companies really made money. The ones that made money was the ones that understood it to be the tool and what they could make utilizing the internet.
Right, right.
Nobody ended up owning HTTP, yet it runs everything. Nobody ended up taking and owning the TCP/IP, yet it runs everything.
Okay, I
Seeing
see
that,
where you're going.
knowing
Yeah.
knowing that literally of the top 500 computers in the world, they all have a singular thing in common. They all run Linux. Yet you can install Linux on as many computers as you want, and you don't owe anybody. Nobody can sue you. Nobody can put you in jail, and you don't own any. Nobody, you're free. That's the only version of free there is. You turn around and install Word on a second computer in your house illegally, and you get free hardware. Risk cuffs. So I
And
look at ADA as being the same thing. It's the equivalent for those. Midnight is designed to take and actually have ZK rollups, zero knowledge proofs, basically sit on top of that side chain. So if you go to a nightclub and you hand the big bad gnarly bouncer as some hot little Asian girl your ID, he's got your address, he's got your birth date. Oh, wow, you're just turned 30. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. Maybe I'll come by with a ladder and wish you happy birthday tonight. You're handing out way more information than you need to. Midnight will prevent that with the zero knowledge, and the where this really is going to pay dividends, my belief, is in medical research, because now you can turn around and be able to take and submit the information for like a clinical study without violating HIPAA and handing over all of your medical records. You don't need to keep it all on blockchain, but you can take and use Midnight to take and secure all those health records. And so that's huge. All of these medical establishments are signing up to take and actually implement Midnight. Google is taking and running some of the validators for midnight. And there's about five other large entities like Google's that have basically taken, looked at everything and said, oh, yeah, we want to play here. We are all in. And so they really don't care too much about ADA, but they're all in on the features that Midnight is going to provide. And that's huge. But it's also the same thing, like I said, with ADA. You look at that when you understand how the internet, when you understand how Linux was actually created and the value that those two things have provided. Okay, I'm in. This is designed to be a financial operating system for the planet at large. And they have identity solutions that are built into it and all of these other things. There are a couple states that have actually sat down with him and said, can you do a way to do on-chain voting to be able to take and run elections?
Oh,
Midnight be a
that's what we
great.
need. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
So
Okay.
can't do that on Bitcoin. Can't do that on Ethereum. There are very few that you could actually take and do that. But you need something that literally from the ground up has those things built into the underpinnings of it to be able to take and provide that type of feature set. So between ADA and Midnight, you 100% could take and do it, and you could literally do it on a planetary level.
Cool, cool.
And
Hey, I
now,
found the link for Dan's YouTube channel. I'm going to include that in the Google Doc like we always have.
okay,
And then if people want to check him out there, they can do that as well. Um,
yeah,
and then I'll
and
throw
that,
the recording up later today on this so
okay,
people can check out and go from there. But yeah, you've got my interest peaked on this. This looks like a cool, I mean, even just a couple of things are interesting to me, and let alone the other stuff that we didn't go over or, is hidden under some of those submenus kind of things.
and this is still very much under active development. Uh, I think I joined about August of last year, and I thought, yeah, I only need a year. I really kind of wanted to buy the lifetime, but I thought, yeah, I mean, who knows? Once the January rolls around and I get out of pretty much everything, the other coins should go up so much. I will probably, you know, liquidate them over the next 10 years of my life, just little teeny bits at a time,
Yeah.
because they should have appreciated so much. Now I'm like, shit, maybe I should have bought the whole year because we haven't gotten a bull cycle. But there is a lot that this does. Take a look, create. What I would say is first thing to do if you're interested is go look and see all the videos that they have on it. Take and, do your own research, take and look at it, understand what the roadmap looks like, everything that they're looking at implementing, everything that they have implemented, and then go through and take and actually figure out, you know, if you don't want to round trip this, and because of what's happened with the market, um, when do we have a bull cycle? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I see there's a little blurb that says refer and earn. Is there like a referral link you want to share? And then, when we sign up
Uh,
under you'll
sure.
get a little kickback or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it. You've got it.
I did try to take and join that a long time ago.
Hmm.
Uh, anyone who uses
Yeah. Well, if you want to do it later and text it to me or email it to me, I'll add it to the Google
Okay, you
Doc
got it.
and go
You
from
got it.
there. So cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Tim, for taking the time to share this with us. This was, yeah, much more than I was expecting. Ahmed, I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'm sure others will. when they get through the recording and check it out. We've got our next in-person meeting coming up on the 22nd on Sunday, and then we will be doing talking about the tax reporting tools beginning of April there for anybody who has not done their taxes yet and needs to do that. And with that, I will stop our little AI companion that's been taking notes, and we will go from there. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys, and we'll see you next month.
Take care, everyone.